Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the Kaur Show, and today we are in episode 24. And today's special, unlike the previous episodes, is actually much special today. We've got a very extra special guest from Australia itself. And this time, unlike our usual guests who have actually done something in their life and still, like, on a mission or something, this time we actually got a little, I'll say, a young teenager girl who is actually a daughter who is doing so much and doing a mission for her father and fighting against racism. She is actually on that mission. So we'll be talking on detail with Penji Ranjit Kaur. Penji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. How are you, Benji?
I'm doing well, Penji. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
That's good. I know this week it's going really busy, especially we know about Australia and I know few other countries as well with farmers' protests. How's it in your country?
So today there are Sangat gathering from most cities in the UK to travel to
Mhm.
London to protest regarding the Punjab farmers and their protest in Delhi. So I think
Mhm.
it'll make an amazing effect there as well for them. But it's amazing to see everyone be united around the wheel to stand with the
Yeah,
farmers. And
yeah.
this is happening in Melbourne and Sydney as well. Is that right?
It's massive. Really speaking,
Mm.
it's massive and much bigger than we expected. And it's great to see, Sikhs, non-Sikhs, and people like, from various groups, despite any of the, all the different diverse groups, they're actually doing it together just for the farmers. This is a revolution, I believe. And like
Definitely.
Corona, I think in our lifetimes, this is a kind of once off thing you will see because these sort of revolutions do not happen like, every single day or night. This happens like once in a lifetime. And I think we are part of that.
Definitely. Definitely think we're part of that.
Yes. So I saw, Benji, you're also doing a lot of things on social media regarding the farmers campaign and also with Sikh coloring. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that too.
So, with the farmers campaign, basically, I'm trying to make noise about it. And I think
Mhm.
from this Durong, all we can do is do stories, do posts, talk about them, make noise about them, have
Yeah.
people that don't know about them make, so it's awareness. So, I think it's an impact if we all talk together and unite, because otherwise it won't be heard. And social media is a massive impact for people these days.
Very well said. I know social media plays a great role. People are, every single minute they are looking at social media networks to see what's happening in the world. And that's one way of, making your noise to the ears of the government and yeah, Modi government in India as well. So that's really great. It's and especially the singers. Look at all the artists like who are making all this buzz on Twitter and every single network, I'll say. It's amazing. Super. All right. So coming back to today's episode, Panji, I've already introduced, and we know that it's gonna be a very special episode today with our teenager friend who's coming and gonna talk about her fight against racism, and that's for her father. What do you think about this topic?
I think today's show with our very young Ebony Singh, who is just 14 years old. I'm shocked that, she's so young, but she's going to come on today to talk about a daughter's fight against racism.
Yeah.
And Ebony is a Sikh police officer's daughter who is currently making a heartfelt plea to the New South Wales Premier to investigate racism and bullying allegations against her father. So I think
Mm,
for this young child to come and talk about this on our show is going to be amazing. So we can all learn where she gets the strength, the dedication, the courage. It's going to be so good knowing how she gets all this and then where she's going to go with this as well and where we can all
absolutely.
support as well.
Definitely. So I'll bring Ebony on in our program, and we'll talk further on this topic. Ebony, welcome to the Kaur Show. How are you doing today? I think you're on mute.
She's on mute.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
How are you doing, Ebony?
I'm good, thank you. How are you
That's good.
guys?
Yes, we are doing well as well. And thanks for coming on to the show and you're doing an amazing, role with the petition that you have launched and the topic that we are going to cover today, your fight against racism for your dad, with the job
Yeah.
he was doing. So we'll talk in detail about that, and we want to spread that message so that people become more aware of that. So before we do that, Ebony, please tell us something about your background, how you came into Sikhi, and something you would like to.
Um. Yeah. So my name's Ebony Singh, and um, I'm 14. My mum is an Aboriginal, Anglo-Celtic background, and my dad is a Sikh from Punjab. Um. Yeah, I haven't done this before. I'm a bit new at it, so um. Um.
That's totally fine. Don't worry, it's all good. So tell us about this passion that you have with the petition and the campaign. What's this all about?
So my petition is about justice and equality. For protection for everyone. This isn't. It's not. I mean, it's not just about my dad. Yes, my dad was racially abused, and he was threatened to have his beard cut and subjected to derogatory remarks by his own colleagues. But this has happened to many, or this can happen to many diverse Aussies, and this petition is to bring a change and in the system by having accountability and raising awareness. It's also to open a dialogue and to ensure all those subjected to racism that they're not alone, and that such behaviour in Australia won't be tolerated. The current New South Wales police policy, is a baptised Sikh cannot join the force because the policy requires men to shave their beards. There are no provisions for a Sikh in terms of uncut hair, which is the first requirement of being a baptised Sikh. And as you know, a baptised Sikh, if they cut their hair, they are violating their Amrit. So they're required to have a punishment by the Punch Piare, but also Guru Sahib doesn't allow this. So yeah.
Okay, yes, that's very important information that you have shared, Ebony. And just before we go on the next question into that. I just wanted you to check a little bit of your audio. I think there's a little bit of some fuzziness coming up, if it's possible, just to make it clear, if that's possible. And I think yes, yep, and you've shared really important information about what this petition is about, and we definitely agree that wherever we need justice, equality, and protection, as being a Sikh, we definitely need to raise a voice. And if we can raise that voice for others, why not for our own self? So it's very important that you have taken this initiative. And I know your dad, he has actually gone through PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. Um, and maybe if you could tell us about what initiatives, when he actually went through all this bullying and, racism within his colleagues, what are the steps that's been actually done to tackle that internally?
Well, he continued to like struggle with all the racism while going to work, but he still went. And I remember he would always talk about needing to raise awareness about the Sikh faith and to wider communities. And he would go to the Curry Festival we have here, and hand at the turpentine stall that they have at the Good Curry Fest, and talk to people about Sikh faith and speak to people and like try to raise awareness about Sikhi. Um, he would take cooked food for his colleagues at work, and he even offered to do a presentation about Sikhi for his workplace in his own time too, but the request wasn't accepted. It was denied. But my dad never wanted to go to social media or to speak to a member of public about the racial mistreatment. So yeah, that's what he did. I would hear him say, to his counsellor that the image of New South Wales Police Force is everything for him, and that a few ignorant officers don't represent that force, the image of the police force. But I think that the racism and racists need to be called out. Otherwise, it will rot within our system, and it will just corrupt the whole system.
So what prompted you to take this online? So like, how did you take that step to do this then?
When I seen my dad suffering from PTSD and he's having a panic attacks and not being able to sleep properly, I heard about his ordeal when he would talk to his counsellors at home on telehealth. I wrote letters to the Premier of New South Wales, the Labor Leader of New South Wales, and the Greens MP, Mr. Shoebridge, but I never received a helpful response from them on taking an independent investigation and bringing a change to the police policy. So that's why I decided to take it online, because I wasn't getting help anywhere else.
It's amazing, Ebony, taking that initiative. We are really proud of you. And I'm sure, even though it's a very hard time and only the family can understand what they are going through, but taking such an initiative at such a, young age, I think it's very, it's a great initiative that you have taken this particular step. Maybe if you could tell us a little bit about how your family is actually feeling about it, how you are supporting each other.
We've just been we've been supporting each other by
That's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
We just look after each other. My mum looks after us, and we help our dad. We help our dad. We try to take him out and get him back into the social, the society again, because he doesn't go out much. It's just a bit hard. So
yeah, I know, Ebony, answering, all this, and especially as we said before, it's very hard. Even for us, even after doing 24 episodes, we are like, oh, it's a new episode, and always we have that thing. I know it's a little bit awkward, on the screen as well. But yeah, we just like a family, we sharing this on the screen just to share, like, within the family. It's always hard when you're facing this bullying, racism, even if it's at the school level or it's at the work level or in the society. And also when you have actually opted for Sikh religion and then coming into Sikhi and facing all this, it's really hard. And support from within the family, I think that does help a lot. So probably you've got your younger brothers as well. Do they ask you questions about what they are going through? And probably I think you're supporting them, and as you said, like, your mom is supporting yourself.
no, my brothers, they're a bit too little to understand. They don't really know what's going on. I think they have like a hint, but I don't think they're too little to understand any of it. So yeah.
Okay, so with the petition, let's talk about the petition. So when you set this online, and so what was your aim? What did you want to achieve?
I wanted to achieve a reformed police policy in which where diverse Aussies can practice their religion without discrimination. So I also an independent investigation in relation to certain officers towards my dad that has left him to suffer from major depression and PTSD. I think New South Wales Police should have a education and development package about Sikhi and the 5Ks, and that Sikh officers and provision so that Sikh officers can have uncut hair and uncut beard added into the current policy so that no other Sikh has to go through what my dad went through. Every Sikh should be able to practice their faith while being a police officer.
Okay, so Ebony, since the time that you have initiated this petition, have you been or your family has been contacted by maybe the same police department that your dad was or is working with, or any of other relevant departments as well, just to ask you, because when you see something going on, trending on social media and making a noise, sometimes people do start noticing that and they come to your support. So have you been approached, or yourself or any of your family members been approached by anyone?
No, not really. None
Okay,
of
so
us
not
have been
even
approached. No.
yeah, so not even the Sikh organizations or anything like that yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah. Okay, that's really very weird as well. Like people, at least especially from the community, they should be approaching or asking at least what's going on around, and that's a big support. I think that should start from your home and within your organizations as well. And have you or your family tried to approach other organizations as well?
But can you say that again? Sorry, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I said, have you guys like approached other organizations as well just to gain support? Maybe some
Um,
gurdwaras, local gurdwaras, yeah.
I have when I've been overwhelmed with support. I have received
Yeah.
from local and global Sikh communities as well as non-Sikh communities. I've received emails and messages from people offering to do whatever they can to promote the petition and join to bring a positive change. So far, I've not come across challenges or anything like that. But 0.1% of people do send racist and bit rude comments and messages on my petition and news. But with Guru Sahib's Kippa, I'm not really concerned about them.
That's really good. That's really good. Have you thought about contacting like United Sikhs?
Yes, I have contacted them, and I think they are just like trying to work it out a bit.
Because we had Majinder Pal here recently on the show, and whenever there's a Patka issue or any type of issue in Australia happening, or anywhere in the world actually, they come together and they help you out. So maybe we can give you her contact or their contact details there and get directly contacted so they can come and really shake things up. But you've been doing this for a few months now, and yeah, and I can see
I think
that
that
you've
is
got.
great. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and then that way you've got a direct contact, and then you can really sort this out, because
Yeah.
this heartfelt plea is it's for justice, and it's making a difference out there for all other police officers that are that are good Sikhs. So and on your change.org, your plea site, so we need to actually put that up as well on here. But you've got over 3,400 signed signatures already supporting you. So I think that is absolutely amazing. You've done this for a few months now. Is it just a few months?
Yeah, I think 2 months. Since
2 months. So in 2 months, you've got over nearly 3,500, signatures. helping you out. I think that's absolutely amazing. You should be proud of yourself that you've come this far. So it's really good. And when reaching out to other organizations, they will help you. They will help you get
Yeah.
somewhere.
We have been
Definitely.
reached out by the Metropolitan Sikh Association in UK. They said that they're gonna try and help out as well. They're gonna see what they can do, even though they're a bit far away. They'll see what
Well,
they can do, research about it, and yeah.
yeah, that's the power of social media, Ebony. When you know, do something like that, someone at least notice that, and that's where, all these bits and pieces connect to each other, and your voice gets heard somewhere. So I think it's really important that you have actually raised this petition and brought it. If you just keep it to yourself, you don't talk about it, you can never expect a solution. So it's always good to come out of your comfort zone, and that's what exactly you have done, what we should have done as well. And at the same time, Penji Ranjit Kaur, I think it's a great idea. Majinder Penji is always very approachable, and we can definitely, bring her across this petition and see if there is any help we can get from United Sikhs around that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what kind of challenges are you facing right now then? Because you've got this petition out. What other challenges are you facing right now?
I'm just trying to get more signatures. That's all the challenge is at the moment, just to get as many signatures as we possibly can so we can get this policy changed.
I think it's amazing what you're doing. And the fact that you're so young, it's even more courageous because, wow, how many youngsters are able to look at a faith and say, I really want to change this. I mean, I work in IT apart from Sikh colouring, and if I was challenged with my turban or anything else, I would want to stand there and say, no, I'm staying here. But if you're bullied by all your colleagues, it cannot be easy. It must be very difficult. So
Yeah,
I think
we really want our dad to get better, and so be like before. Yeah.
Yeah, and this can happen to anyone. This can happen to anyone in any type of work. So the fact that you want to change this so that nobody else goes through the same type of pain, I think that's amazing. And that he's going through something mentality-wise, it's great that you want to get him better, because that will help others come forward too, to help them, because you don't know if anyone else is alone.
Yeah,
So I think you're doing really well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ebony, I wanted to ask one more question. Does your dad knows about this petition? Which I think it's on social media, so he might know. And if he knows, and how does he feel about it?
My mum helps me a lot with it. My dad doesn't really he knows about it, but he doesn't know a lot about it. So he's not he rests a lot. So
Yeah. No, that's fine.
he
Yeah.
doesn't talk much about it.
Yeah. I know it's very hard, and I have met your dad personally, and he's a great guy. And we have met so many times in the Khalsa camps that's been held in Australia, and I see yourself and your family always there, on day one of the Khalsa camp, and it's always amazing to see you people over there, and talking about and seeing you guys into Sikhi, and when we see you coming from other culture, and being dressed up in such a beautiful Sikhi attire, and your participation and your love for the Sikhi. It's amazing, especially your dad, your mom, and everyone. I'll say your two little brothers and yourself as well. It's really, really amazing. Maybe we can talk about little bit about Khalsa camps. How do you feel like when you come to the camps? How you feel connected to the Sikhi, and learning more from there, and connecting to the people as well?
I actually came into Sikhi because of Khalsa camp. It really helped me come to Sikhi. It made me really understand Sikhi, and it I was inspired by my dad, because he was the reason we started going to Khalsa camp, and it's so good to be there, because it's around all these other people who are into Sikhi as well, and yeah, it's amazing. Khalsa camp's great.
that's a great feedback, Ebony. And I'm just reading through some comments as well. That's from Australia itself, and this is from Panji Harshneet Kaur, and she has actually lived. She's living in New South Wales herself, and she's saying that she was really disheartened when she saw the petition and online, and being living in New South Wales. We never thought our families can have such challenges, and it's really a courageous work done by yourself. And yeah, they stand with you. I think this is a great message, and when you know that your community at least supporting yourself, I think that's a great win-win. Yes, and Ebony, it's great to hear, how you felt from Khalsa camp and how inspirational it is. Like do you think some of your courage, like to the petition, and when you said you standing for justice and raising your voice, this is something that's coming from the camps and connection with the Sikhi itself. Is that your motivation behind raising this petition as well?
Yeah. It did. It come from this like Sikhi and the culture. It's really inspirational. I learned a lot about the history of the gurus and everyone at Coles camp, and it gave me a lot of courage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what the camps are meant for. What do you think, Ranjit Panji? Do you usually attend camps as well, Khalsa camps?
Yes, I do. And then I also help out with the children. So I normally run the children's section where we teach the children about Sikhi, but really in a child-free way. I was just remembering your email that you sent through earlier, Ebony, about how you mentioned in your email about the petition and how powerful it is with what you're doing. Because I don't know anyone that's done a petition before. So I see loads of petitions come through, but to actually read yours going through, it's amazing. I think it's actually just an eye-opener. And I remember you saying on the email, you'd written down like your petition is about justice and equality and protection for all. So we learn all these qualities in the camps that we go to, but then to put that actually put that through your petition, I think is amazing. And you're so young and you've seen an error in a system. When your dad went to become a police officer, did he know about the rules there and how they didn't, or was he a good Sikh before he got there, or?
No, he didn't follow Sikhi back then. It was when we moved to Gulga, and he because it's such in 2013. It's such a big Sikh community. He decided to start following Sikhi, and then
Yeah, no, that's really good. And in your email, you had said, this is not just about my dad. Yes, my dad was racially bullied, threatened to have his beard cut and subjected to nasty remarks, but by his own colleagues. So that's absolutely terrible. But this has happened to many diverse Aussies. So I think that's even worse, that it happens to so many people. And this petition is to bring a change in the system by having accountability and raising awareness. It's an amazing way, the way you're going to raise this awareness. And it is to open a dialogue and assure all those subjected to racism that they are not alone. And the majority of Australians condemn racism and such behaviour anywhere. And if anywhere you expect that, you would not expect it in the police force. Whether you're baptized or not, you'd hope at least that's the place you would go to for security, not to be where you would be targeted. So currently in the police force, baptized Sikhs cannot join the force. That sentence in itself is disturbing, I think. I think that's a very serious issue there. So I'm definitely going to give you details for United Sikhs for them to actually shake on this, because even though it's only been a few months, you've done remarkably well with getting those numbers in your petition. This needs to go another level up now. What do you think, Benji?
Absolutely. And I also wanted to, mention here that in Victoria, Queensland, and Western Australia, there is already they have already amended their policy, and where Sikh officers, they can keep their 5Ks, and also they can wear turban, and there is nothing like without any hated harassment and discrimination. And we see so many police officers in Victoria. Really speaking, Penji, if I'm traveling in train, every single stop I'll take, okay, even if I'm not saying not at every single stop, but every alternative stop on the train station, I will actually see a Sikh, wearing turban in the Victoria Police. So that's really something, we know that this profession is actually getting respect here, and people can actually wear their 5Ks if they are baptized. So if this can happen in Victoria, Western Australia, and Queensland, which are all the states in Australia itself, why not in New South Wales? So definitely, I don't
Yeah,
think there's any challenges
definitely.
that it
And
shouldn't follow.
I always think that things happen in Melbourne first and then it comes slowly later to New South Wales. I remember living in Sydney and trying to just get the law where we can just have no a helmet free thing. It took a
Yes,
while, but these
yeah,
things happen after it happens in Melbourne first. So I think, Ebony, the advantage is other police officers that are Sikhs or that are keeping their hair, in other states, they've got it easy for them. And so in New South Wales, it will just take that a bit longer, but it will happen because it's been set everywhere else in Australia. And
yeah.
wherever it
Maybe
hasn't been set, once it's in New South Wales, it will be set
yeah,
everywhere else then.
that's right. Yeah, maybe move to
Yeah,
Victoria. Come,
because
come over to us.
my dad's the
Nah.
first one in New South Wales, first baptized Sikh. That's why it's like new to everyone, so they don't know about this. They don't understand.
Yeah, it's going to be an education for them. And it's easy for us to say, why doesn't he just talk about it all day long to the police officers or his colleagues? But it's a very different matter when you're being bullied or targeted. So I
Mm,
think that's, when you don't expect it and then you're getting this new religion, you're trying to get into the faith and learn the Maryada, it's very difficult to then have to deal with everyone else. So support
yeah,
is a massive thing. And it's really good that you've got support from Sangat, and you've got support from non-Sikhs as well. So I think that's
mm,
important too, because
Yeah,
racism isn't just in one area; it's everywhere. So wherever you get support, that just really does help. So I think this is amazing what you're doing.
yeah. That's right. And Penji, when we talk about education, it's very important. Yeah, I know in Victoria, even we have been going through many schools like prior to COVID season, and we're doing so many turban stalls, and even going to workplaces. We also had one session at SBS radio as well. So I think education is definitely must, and government is actually welcoming all these educational sessions so that people can, even with diversity and all these traditions, and they can collaborate and still work in a harmonious way. So it's very important, and definitely we'll definitely see what are the challenges. We can talk to different organizations. We know there are so many organizations even in Sydney, New South Wales. I think a conversation is the key, and what Ebony has done by raising this petition is the start of that conversation. And Harshneet Penji has mentioned another comment that she has also seen police officers in Sydney as well, the Sikh police officers, and she was also surprised and sad at the same time to hear that. So definitely, I think we can explore further and see if we can do something for our brothers and sisters, and that's for our future generations as well.
yeah.
Definitely. I remember you also put in your email that you've learnt from your dad that Khalsa is about true ideals and truth will ultimately prevail. Everyone who believes in truth, equality, honesty, justice, and protection for all is a Khalsa, regardless of what they call their God. So I think that's amazing how you put that. It's just, it's amazing how you put that in words. And I definitely think this is going to be something that we tackled for you. You will receive support with this. So I have full faith in this, and I'm glad that we've raised this today because even I've learnt that now. I didn't think it was an issue before. Not living in Sydney, I never thought this would be an issue. But the fact that he's been mentally, unstable because of it, that's something that definitely has helped you with this to motivate yourself as well. So Benji, have we shared the link in the comments?
Yes, I will be sharing it right now. And I was gonna just ask another question, Ebony. Have you been able to find any other Sikh police officers who might have faced similar issue? Like, have you been able to connect with anyone?
Um, we haven't. No, not really. They're like we've heard about other police officers in other states, but we haven't been able to reach out them in any way.
Yeah.
And I
Sure.
haven't heard of any other Sikh police officers here,
Yeah. Yeah.
apart from my dad. So
Sure. And Ebony, I can see that you have kept a target at the moment. I think it's about 5,000. Will you have any other plan if after 5,000, but like signatures, do you see anyone? I know petition is just a matter of starting a conversation. Do you have a plan, anything after the petition as well, to do something
so
more? Yeah.
there would, like, I'm gonna keep getting as many signatures as I can. Like, we need lots of signatures for this to go a long way.
Yes, I
Like,
agree with you. Totally agree with you. So I think those who have tuned in today, or if you tune in later on to the show, please go onto the website that with the link that we have put into the comments and have a signature on there. It will make a massive difference to this petition. It will help with other people that are going through this type of issue come forward as well. And it will help with the fact that in New South Wales, we need to change the law with allowing Sikhs to be in the police force. So we don't want anyone else to go through what Ebony's father's gone through. We want this to be mutual, and we also want it so that it's equal for everyone, because it's not justice here done.
yeah.
Is that how you feel, Ebony?
Yeah. If we get, like, if 5 people from, like, if you have 5 members in your family, each one should be signing individually. That will help increase the numbers a lot too.
Yeah. So if there's so many members in the family, then each do it so that it adds up to the numbers. You're not far off from your target, so it's going to be, I don't think it's going to take you long to get there, and you're doing a remarkable job. Ebony, I would like to thank you today for sharing your amazing story, your bravery, your courageous journey. I think it's been so amazing to hear what you've had to say. I'm so glad I've learnt a lot, and I also hope that people have learnt from this and that they support your campaign too, because it's an amazing thing what you're doing. Are there any last comments you wanted to make, Ebony? Anything else you wanted to say to the Sangat?
God is one, and He created everyone and everything for a reason. We are not meant to look the same. Diversity should be part of every successful civilization.
That's amazing. And Benji, did you want to have any last comments, speeches?
No, I think we've covered everything, and I would just want to thank you, Ebony, for taking the courage to share this story and bringing this on social media and coming forward to share this. I had a word with her mom as well before bringing Ebony in, because we wanted to seek permission before bringing Ebony on the show and sharing all this, because sometimes it's very personal as well, indeed, but at the same time. We don't want to keep it to ourselves and stay quiet and keep feeling the harassment. We want to take it and raise our voice, and not just a voice, but we want to raise a collective voice so that it can be heard and we can bring the change that can be harmonious for the community's future. Diversity, definitely, we are living in multicultural Australia, and when you have different kinds of flowers in the pot, it looks more beautiful, and that's the intent. Yes. And we want to achieve that. And to all the viewers who are watching us right now and who will watch us later, request you to please sign this petition. Please sign it with as many number of people in your home, and also spread the word. Please do get as many signatures as possible.
Definitely. This is this is one of those shows where even I've been lost for words for you, Ebony, because I'm not normally lost for words, but I have been, because it is personal, but I think it's also really important. And I think it's definitely sad, because I've been in Sydney, I've lived there, and I just think if I was there with you right now in Sydney, I would definitely, I would back you up with this 100% and make a lot of noise on social media. And I still will. Now that I know more about it, I think I definitely will on Sikh colouring. But we would like to thank you all, and Hope to see everyone next week again. And if you have any comments or specific topic, then please send us an email at hello@thekaurshow.com. Or if you would like to see any of our previous shows, then please visit our website, thekaurshow.com. Thank you, Ebony, and thank you, everybody.
Thank
Vaheguru
you.
Ji Ka Khalsa,
Well,
Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.